problem with this computer. Awesome. You might need to just, I don't know whether you've got to approve that or not with you guys. Whether you get a pop up. If you do, just keep it. Just say yes. So, okay. If we just go around a very quick, because we've got so many in the room, and I've got a lot of content that I want to share with you today, so I'm going to talk quite quickly. But if we can just go around very quickly and introduce ourselves into the room, and that way too, like whatever it is that you do in business, maybe someone who's in the room here is actually looking for your services. So that's really one of the big things that I really love to focus on, is helping bring people together so that they can support each other in their business journey, especially because, you know, well, business life, it's all the one thing really. So Mitch, I'll start with you and then we'll go across to Vicky next. Okay.
All right. Hello everybody, I'm Mitch. I'm Darius VA and I'm from the Philippines. So it's nice to meet you all, and I'm also a mom of 2 kids. So yeah, girl power.
Awesome. As you finish up, would you mind popping yourself back on mute so that everyone else, I'll explain that more as later as to why that's important. But Vicky and then Emily up next, please.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, I'm Vicky. I'm from Toowoomba in Queensland. I run a small party balloon business from home. I used to have a shop in town, but cost too much money, so I moved it to home and run it from there. And I have done for about the past 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, that's awesome. Me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Emily and then Leanne, please.
Well, hello, I'm Emily. I'm up in Katherine, Northern Territory. My goal for this is to bring wellness online. So hoping I can get lots out for the next year with, yeah, mental health and everything. So that's my goal.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Leanne and then Adele, please.
Yeah. I'm Leanne. I live in Rockhampton in Queensland. I teach yoga, yoga nidra, meditation, relaxation. I also am an art of feminine presence facilitator, and I do some coaching with intuitive energy coaching. And I'm happy to join you girls. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Leanne did a yoga nidra session with me online the other day. And I've never done yoga before, and this is really lovely because you just lie down and she talks you through stuff, but it was really cool. I completely loved it. Adele, if you'd like to introduce, and then Sandy next, please.
Okay, hi, I'm Adele and I'm based in Toowoomba, but I do service clients all around Southeast Queensland. I'm an estate planning lawyer, and so I help people with preparing their wills, powers of attorney, family discretionary trusts, you know, just making sure their assets are protected if something's to happen to them, either incapacity or death, which is not always great to talk about, but it's something that happens to all of us, and so needs to be looked at. So that's me.
Thank you, Adele. Sandy and then Katie, please.
Hi, how are you? Hello, everyone. My name's Sandy Mantova. I actually live in Gatton. I'm a teacher, but I also run a small business, it's growing, a business for aromatherapy and wellness products here from my home. So I've expanded over the last year, and I now have customers all over Australia, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, but I just run it here from my home.
That's awesome. Nice to meet you, Sandy. Katie and then Deb, please.
It's been very slow. Sorry, Terry's just Gail's just texted me wanting the link, and I'm trying to do that at the same time.
Mitch, would you be able to send the Zoom link through to Gail Thompson, please?
Yes.
Mitch will take care of that, Katie.
It just didn't email. It's not doing very well. So she's just waiting for it. Right. Yes, so I'm Katie from my business is ECM Consulting in Toowoomba. So I provide, which means Evolve Coach Mentor. I provide what do I do? Professionally develop resume job application documents, including LinkedIn profiles. I do the interview coaching, or the application letters, resumes. Also, I'm been trying to expand into personal branding coaching. So at the moment, my goal is to get this online coaching program up on, it'll be online, hopefully be launched in February.
Awesome. I do like the sound of that. Deb and then Sherry next, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Deb. I'm in Toowoomba as well. I am a local bookkeeper and I have clients Australia-wide, so I help clients with everything from data entry through to payroll, through to BAS, through to talking to the ATO. I basically do the things everyone else hates to do and I love it.
I love that you love it, Deb, because it's not my fun thing.
Got to have all types, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Sherry and then Teresa, please.
Hi, I'm Sherry Dumbrell. I'm in North Brisbane. I'm a certified spending planner, which is a new industry in the finance. And so I help people, I train, mentor, support, accountability to people to create a spending plan, because traditional budgeting is broken, and a spending plan is forward planning, which is where success comes from. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Teresa and then Holly, please. Oh, Teresa, you need to unmute, please, hun, and introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. I'm working now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm Teresa. I live out at Rockside, which that's Lockyer Valley, south of Gatton. I'm an artist and a creator, and I am niching down on rag rugs. I go and find fabrics and materials to upcycle and repurpose into rag rugs, and I make kits up for people to make their own.
And they are very, very cool too. I need to come and see you again, Teresa, because I've forgotten how to start mine. I've got the kit and I can't do anything with it.
So, oh, by the way, that's a little bit what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
It's a round one. Yep.
They're very cool.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Holly and then Sandra, please.
Hi everybody, I'm Holly. I'm from a little town in Queensland called Mergen. We are farmers. I have a small home hairdressing salon, but my main thing and why I've come onto this group to try and get a bit of guidance to sort myself out and plan for the year is I also have a online skincare business. So I've been growing over the last 3 years. I've got customers actually all over the world. So I just want to get a little bit of organization into my year and try and start the year on a good foot. So that's what I'm doing. So I help people get the best skin that they can possibly get from home.
That's awesome, Holly. My mum used to live at just near Mergen, Wandai, years ago. Yep. Yeah, when she and her then husband first retired from Brisbane, they lived at Wandai for quite a while. So they spent a lot of time going up that way. Sandra,
you'll be the first person that actually knows
not so
where
bad.
Mergen is.
There's a bunch
Most
of people
go, Mergen? Where's that?
I know where Mergen is too, Holly. We've got family friends up that way, so there you go.
Oh, that's good.
I had a friend that lived at Gamiri, so I know that well.
Yeah. Yeah, we know where you're from, Holly. It's all good.
Awesome.
Sandra and then Gail, please. And I'll just let people know Gail is going to leave her video off today because of some stuff that's happening at home. So, but yeah, she's definitely there, knowing Gail. Sandra, go ahead, please, hon.
Hello, lovelies. My name's Sandra. I'm on the Liverpool Plains, New South Wales. I'm on a healing journey. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder 2 years ago, and I have a new normal that has made helping to build my farming business with my husband a little bit difficult. We have a Santa Gertrude estate, and we also do regenerative agriculture, and I'm learning how to do my new normal, and this is part of helping to create a new normal that works for me and for our business. And because of the signal, I'll be turning my video off and just sitting in.
Yep. That's all right. Happy to have you here, Sandra. And I know we always seem to have some internet issues when you're on, but that's, that's also part of the joys of being rural often.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic when you don't want to answer a message. Oh, I didn't have service. I've often done that when I go out to see my brother at Taroom. He's got, in the middle of his house, literally there is zero service. The only way you can get anything is if you tap into the Wi-Fi. So if I ever go out and visit him, I often just leave my phone in the middle of the house all day so that I can just take a break and be very honest in the fact that, no, I didn't get your message. I'm sorry, but now I'll respond. Gail, would you like to jump on and introduce yourself, hun?
Hey, sorry, I just feel like crap today. Hi, I'm Gail from the Visibility Collective and Visible After 40. I help people sort out their offers online, get visible online through web design, optimize assets, sales funnels. I help with email marketing. I can, help you with your sorry, I lost it. Anyway, I also run a group for women over 40 who want to either grow or start their business and get visible online, whether you lack in tech or confidence or anything digital. We're here to help. We're all very supportive. So yeah, that's me. Sorry, I got on late and I'm a bit out of it. Usually I'm better at this.
That's okay, Gail. Now, Sarah has just joined us. Hi. Sarah, we've actually just finished going around everybody and introducing ourselves. Would you like to introduce you, and then I'll start the presentation and do a proper introduction of me. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I just came from the gym, so
that's okay.
I was kind of thinking I would do no screen, but it's not deadly with the screen. Yeah. So, oh, hi, Deb. I see you down there. My name's Sarah. I'm what are we saying? What are the questions?
Just a quick introduction so that people know who you are, what your business is, because you just don't know in case someone who's in the room actually needs your services.
Yep. So I'm a virtual assistant and looking to grow my business from February to full time. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. What's your specialty with your VA stuff, Sarah?
Yeah, so I do basically the creative type things. So design, copywriting, write blogs, email marketing for people, social media management, do a bit of video editing, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Oh, thank you. Sarah, if you could just pop yourself on mute, please, that'd be lovely. And just, I meant to mention it earlier, but got distracted in terms of when Gail was talking about what she did. Gail actually designed my website. So don't look at the copy on my website. That's my responsibility. And right now it really needs an update. But if you look at all the beautiful stuff, that's what Gail did for me. So if you're looking for an example of her work, she's done a bunch of other things. That's my website. Is a while ago now that she created that for me. But yeah, if you're wanting to see what Gail does, have a look there. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the presentation now. If anybody wants to actually send a private message, like if I'm asking questions and you want to send a message through to me, send it to my iPad, not to the one where you can actually see me. If you want to message it privately, I've got the chat open on my iPad. I can't see that when I'm actually when I've got the PowerPoint up. Okay, but most of the I'm hoping that any of the questions that I ask you to respond to, you're happy to sort of share your information with the group anyway. But anyway, let's get started. Okay, can you see the slideshow? Yep, awesome. Okay, I've got a bit of a lag here, that's all. So I just want to check in. Thank you, Sarah. I saw the thumb go up. Okay, so welcome everybody to the very first of my free webinar series that I'm planning on running this year. So my intention is to actually do a webinar on the first Tuesday of every month. So it'll be 10 o'clock on a Tuesday with Terry. We might add to that with other things later on, but at the moment I'm definitely committing to one Tuesday every month for the webinars. My plan is to take you through a whole bunch of different strategies and tools that I have learned along the way to help you to, for today, set you up really, really well to have a super successful 2021. The other content that I've got is all the other sort of really core information that I use when I'm working with my clients and in terms of helping them to get beyond whatever blocks are holding them at the moment. But I'll touch on that a little bit later on. Now, am I going to get this to work? I love it when you go into Zoom and you first use your screen and it doesn't actually respond. So today's agenda, first of all, we're going to go through some etiquette stuff. Okay, we'll touch on that in a minute, but just really, you know, etiquette on the internet. We've already done most introductions, but I'll give you a proper introduction to me a little bit like after that. And then we're going to go into why it's so important to plan and why you need to have your big picture nailed down so that when you plan the goals that you set, the way it all works is if, I don't know whether you can see my hands or not, but I talk a lot with my hands, okay? We need to have a really clear vision of what it is for that big picture vision that you have for your life, of what you really want to create. Out of those, once you have all those really big important things nailed down, then from there you can take it into setting a goal. And from a goal, you can set the plan. And from the plan, you can actually do the activity. And the activity is what you'll do on a day-to-day basis that then builds towards that bigger picture. So we're sort of going to go from the big picture backwards today in a couple of different ways. All right. So because I want to essentially, like it's what people talk about in terms of reverse engineering. You start with the big thing and you pull it back down into little pieces. I'll talk to you about how I set myself up each year, and I have actually literally finished doing this for all of my events across and all of my activities across the year. The final bits were dropped into place yesterday. From there, you can then talk about how you allocate your resources. So those resources include both time and money, because time is very finite. We only have a certain amount. However, finances, you know, well, that depends on how much money you generate as to how much you can use. But also, if you've got a really good plan in place, A, you know how much money you need to generate, but B, you also have a better understanding of how much money you've got to be able to fund the things that you want to do. So say it's about, I know Katie was talking about putting her program online. So knowing how much money she's got sitting in the kitty to be able to fund the costs associated with getting that course out in the very first place. That's a really important part of the planning process. For those of you who are on here, anyone who, just to respond, if there's anything pops up in terms of, you know, you need to go later on, we will actually send the video recording out to everybody via email tomorrow. It'll just give me a little bit of time to edit things if necessary. So don't worry about that if something happens with, I know there's a couple of people on here who have got issues with their internet. Okay, allocating your resources, also then about keeping organized and what's next. So essentially what's going to happen is, well, I'll go through all of this. If you're really interested in what I'm doing and how I work and all the rest of it, I have an offer for you at the end in terms of what would be the next steps that I see as being important along the process of getting that broad picture vision or big picture vision nailed down so that you can then go further down into the, you know, the chunking down that we were talking about. So by the end of the webinar, my goal is that you will have all the plans, all the tools that you need to plan out your year for success for 2021. Because like I said before, what I really want is to see everybody who I know as successful as they can possibly be. The more because why? Success breeds success. Once we, you know, you take your business to the next level, and then that will free up resources for you to help other, as you outsource whatever you deem is needed, that helps other businesses grow, and so we all can grow together. But it's about, for me, I love building community. I love watching people succeed. It just, you know, sometimes I think I get more joy out of watching other people succeed than in terms of celebrating my own success. but you know, that's just a part of who I am. I want you by the end of this to be much more clear on your planning. And if you haven't actually got the planning done by the end of the workshop today, then at least have the tools in place so that you can stay on top of it. You'll be able to break down your stuff down to monthly and weekly and daily goals. And I'll show you the system that I use to keep track of my different projects. So in terms of netiquette, please actively participate wherever you can. There will be times a little bit later on where I will ask you to sort of comment into the chat, etc. Give yourself the grace of time and focused attention. It is so important. If you were going to do this workshop, I think everybody who's on here at the moment is operating from their home. And I love that. I am too. My lounge room's right out there. You probably can hear my dog who's just whinging out there at the moment. If you were going to a workshop to physically attend in person, you would have no distractions. You might have your phone with you, but only if you, like, if for me, when I'm worried about my kids' safety, my phone's out. If I'm not worried about them, then it's away when I'm at a training session. Give yourself that same grace in this space so that you can get the most that you can out of today, because otherwise essentially it becomes a big waste of time. Speaking of my kids, one's just turned up with a coffee for me. How good is that? Cheers. Thank you. While we're on here, please don't disturb other people with private message unless it is absolutely vital. I know it's really tempting to like send a message off to a friend or whatever. You can see each other's names. Please feel free to connect with each other through Facebook, or I would expect that all of you would be members of my Facebook group, Leaders in Business. You can find each other there if you really need to contact each other. And I would hope that you would contact each other, honestly, because if, like I said, it's that whole thing about who in the room right now needs the services that you offer or the products that you offer. I ask you to use the mute button unless you're actively responding, because with the way Zoom operates, the loudest noise is what is projected across to everybody else. So if I'm trying to share something and you've got, I don't know, say your dog goes barking in the background like mine probably will later, that noise is going to go over the top of whoever else is speaking, and so it affects what everyone else is actually going to hear. So I don't want to not have you included in the conversation. I just ask that if you're not actively speaking, to please mute yourself for the sake of everybody who is here. Keep your video on wherever possible. Again, it's an interactive kind of thing. I understand for those of you who've got weaker internet, that's not so great. That's fine. I'd rather have you here without a video than not at all. But please, if you can, do keep your video on. And however you want to actually look at this, if you look up in the top right corner of your screen, you can choose between gallery and speaker view so that you can choose what you look at, whether you see the PowerPoint as the bigger part or me. That's up to you. So who am I? Well, my name's Terry, obviously. I'm, above all else, I'm a wife and a mother. My job prior to starting 10,000 Dreams was to become, my primary job was carer for our children, essentially. My husband was primary breadwinner. I always did something on the side, but my main role was about taking care of our children, who are now 18 and 14. Apologies for the dog in the background. While I was doing that, I've been involved in business since day dot. My family are on the land and are still there. I've always been involved in that business. I've always run micro businesses on the side. Quite often I've had part-time jobs, etc. as well, but primarily that whole wife and mother thing had to take first priority, because that was how we set up our family and the choices that we made, and then everything else came in after that. I love supporting small business more than anything else. Most of my clients come from the small business sector. Actually, I think all of them are, and if they're not in the small business sector, they're wanting to get out of corporate so that they can start their own business. Daisy, be quiet. Sorry, my Great Dane doesn't like being left in the house. She forgot that I was here. I'm a cheerleader. I will sit and support you and encourage you however I can, as often as I can. I love being able to, like I said, watch other people succeed, and every so often you just need somebody who's in your corner who will cheer you on to have another go when the going gets a little bit on the tough side. I'm an optimist. I'm really very committed to the idea that there is always a win-win situation to pretty much everything. It's simply a matter of digging deep enough before you can find it. I'm a choleric sanguine, so if you know anything about the personality types, cholerics like to have their own way. Sanguines like to have fun. So we've got to have fun my way in my world. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but if you're interested in personality profiling information and learning about it, the terms choleric and sanguine come from a book called Personality Plus that I read probably, it'll be close to 20 years ago now. Absolutely changed my world in terms of being able to understand me and my strengths and my husband and his strengths in particular, because we are literally chalk and cheese. I apologize for the background dog. But yeah. So I'm also an acts of service person. So that's my primary love language. I love being able to help other people. I love being able to do things for other people that will make them smile. I founded 10,000 Dreams in 2018, so 2.5 years ago. It took me until I was 42 to work out what I wanted to do when I grow up. It was a little while after that that I actually started the business. And, you know, I'm still running it now. I'm now 45, completely love what I do. In terms of what I do within my business, I run dream board workshops where I teach people how to create effective dream boards with a system that I've created myself, and that has been incredibly effective both for myself and for the people that I have taught it to. I work on a one-on-one basis with people on a coaching, so whether that's in person or online, but that my big goal is always about helping people to get from where, like, people will come to me when they're frustrated with where they are right now, and I help them to work out how they can work around what they're currently dealing with to get to the results that they're actually looking for. Often it means defining those results first, hence the dream board workshops, and then we come backwards. But it's just it is something that I do, and I completely love doing it. I also offer small group coaching, mastermind groups. So that's where we meet once a week, maximum of 4 businesses in the room with myself. And initially it's a 12-week program where I offer a small coaching. It's a 12-week commitment to begin with. I do a small coaching piece in the beginning, and then we go through and do a spotlight on individual businesses. And then there's the option to continue that afterwards as well if you'd like to, on an ongoing basis. And also by the end of this year, my intention is to run my first retreat. So that's something I'm super excited about. It's been something that's been on my personal dream board for a really long time. And it was going to happen in 2020, but then we had this funny little virus come along and kind of affect our lives a little bit. So it kind of got shelved. But this is certainly what and it would be an in-person event. As much as I love the online space and I'm very appreciative of what it does, there's a completely different energy when you're in the room with somebody. And that's that's part of what I want to build as I create the retreats. And the goal is to run that by the end of this year. So why do we bother to plan? Well, let me go, I'm just going to go back to different view for a moment. Tell me something, who here took time off between Christmas and New Year? Just pop your hand up for me if you did. And who here kind of lost track of the days? Right? You just kind of come up in this kind of no man's land and go, huh, what? Thank goodness for a phone that automatically sets itself. And look, I'm all for R&R, believe me, it is very, 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 very important. But if we don't have adequate plans in place, then there will be elements of that, huh, what, how, in the middle of our workday, and that's not particularly productive. So the more that you can actually, there's a level of freedom in a plan, because the more disciplined you are with setting down a plan, then once you know the job is done and it's done and it's done and it's done, and then you can have a break and not feel any, I don't know about you, but I find it very hard to put my business stuff down. If it's something that it plays on my head all the time, the more that I'm planned in terms of having all the goals set out for myself and knowing that this is what I wanted to do today and this is what is going to get done tomorrow. If I've done today's work, when I then put my pen down at the end of the day, I can switch off a lot more easily so that I can be more present with my family and actually really appreciate that time. And so that's what I'm talking about in terms of there's freedom in the discipline, because you can step away and not take any guilt with you in terms of, oh, I haven't done this yet and I should have done that. And because I don't know, anyone who's in small business knows business never stops. You're the one who has to stop it, because the business can always, there's always more to be done. But you've got to draw that line, and that discipline comes back into that. Now, I have chatted a lot and we're going, so I'm going to talk really quickly and really briefly for the rest of this, otherwise we're going to be here. I'm just going to pre-warn you, it's likely that I'm going to go over time today. I do apologise. If you need to leave, just do. and I will make sure that the recording gets through to you when we send it out via email tomorrow. So I want you to grab, if any of you who got the emails, and you all would have to have the links, I asked you to come into this with a notebook and pen, and preferably also an A4 printed calendar. Now, I want you to just grab your notebook for a moment, and I want you to write out for me very quickly 5 key goals for the most important areas of your life. Now, I see, so there's 3 different areas that I really think are very important. They are your business goals, your marketing goals, and your lifestyle goals. Now, why those 3 in particular? Look, we can set a gazillion different goals, and when you look at my Trello board that I use for accountability, I have got a gazillion goals on there. Katie can attest to that one. Your business goals are so your marketing goals are going to, let me go back a sentence. Your business goals are a reflection of the impact that you're going to create on the world, okay? Everybody who's here, if you've started a business of some sort, you're creating an impact. So whether that's about, you know, the impact in terms of the change that it can create for your family, whether it's about, for those of you who are in the wellness sector, about the effect that you can have on other people. So you can only reach those business goals though if you've got effective marketing in place, because your marketing goals will ensure that you are then reaching the people who need to see what it is that you do and how it is that you do it. And then so the marketing goals will then help the business to generate the income that will fund the lifestyle goals. Okay, so while I've been chatting there, has everybody been able to, I can only see about 5 or 6 of you at the moment, but has everyone been able to write down some goals in at least one of those areas? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, what I want you to focus, I'm going to break this down again for you, and I'm just going to focus on a fairly simple, I'm just going to take a fairly simple example out of this, okay? But what I want you to do is, as we work through this, I want you to actually apply these concepts to your own stuff. So when we talk about goals, they need to be SMART. Now, why? Because it will give you the structure that's needed so that you know exactly where it is that you're going to, because you cannot kick a goal if you don't know where the goalposts are. It's so, so, so important. So most people here will know what SMART goals are. You've got to be really specific in what it is that you're looking for, because I don't know about you, but I reckon that in 2020 people had a lot of rest and relaxation and chill time on their dream board, and a lot of us got that because we had to stay home. Now the reality is though that we didn't then put with it, one of the things that would have affected a lot of people is that if you didn't have the whole thing in terms of more detail around that rest and relaxation, then it could be the point that when you were stuck at home, you know, in the varying levels of lockdown that different people had to live through, that rest and relaxation is what you actually were, you know, really wanted. So we've got to be very, very specific in what we're looking for. It's got to be measurable. You've got to know that, yes, I've achieved it, and no, I haven't. You know that in a goal, you know, in soccer, as soon as that ball crosses that line, it doesn't actually have to hit the net for it to be a goal. But as soon as it crosses that line, that's a point for that team. Now, so it's very, very measurable. Is it achievable? Well, that comes down to a whole bunch of different factors, but it needs, if you've got a business that's at micro level right now, then to expect that it will generate, say, 100 grand income for this year is probably not realistic. And that's completely okay. Every business goes through a building phase. Maybe you can go from 0 to 100K in a year. Good on you if you can. But there's a lot of businesses that just don't have that capacity. Time frame, well, I've talked about that already. That's pretty logical. And then we come back to, is it realistic? So when you're going through this process, I actually often go SMT, and then I go back to A&R, right? In terms of as I'm actually writing out my own goals. So if we look at a goal, so let's just say as an income goal, I'm just, like I said before, I'm going to just use a really simple example to follow so that you can then apply the information later on. What I'd like for you to do is, as I go through this, I want you to work out what your income goal is for 2021. Would you like to earn 120 grand? Are you more like a 50 or 60 grand kind of person? Is it just that you want to, say, cover 20 grand and cover just your expenses and have a little bit of fun on the side because you've got other income streams? I don't know, maybe you're looking for $1 million a year. Whatever it is, write down your goal for me. So specific for the goal, if it was to be my goal, it would be that I'm going to create $120,000 per year in my coaching business. So I'm involved with 2 other businesses as well. And that income to me it just kind of sits over on the side. When it comes to this particular process, you know, when I'm setting goals for my business within 10,000 Dreams, I don't look at what's happening with those other businesses. I factor that into my time planning. I don't factor it into my goal setting in this regard. So is it measurable? Yeah, I know when there's 120 grand hit my bank account, and I'll be dancing through this when it does too. Time frame. So I want it through the 2021 calendar year. Is that achievable? Well, that depends on a whole bunch of different factors. Like if you apply this to your business, have you got the foundation to be able to build from whatever it was that you created in the 2020 calendar year to then develop that through to 120 grand in the 2021 calendar year? That's for you to answer. And then from that, is that realistic? Now, it may be that this needs to be pulled back a bit, and maybe the 120 needs to be next year, or maybe the 120 can be by the end of this financial year instead of by the end of the calendar year. I don't know. That depends on your particular situation. You can answer that question though without actually having to share that with the group. A better goal would be to say that I want to generate 120 grand via my business coaching business during 2021, as opposed to what we had back here in terms of just the $120,000 income, right? Because that income can come from anywhere. But what I'm wanting to do is generate that through only the coaching business. You can add additional detail to this. So I'm going to pick on you again, Katie. You said that you were creating that online course. So obviously once that's created, that will then develop a level. I'm assuming it will be online and essentially like an evergreen content. That will then give you a level of passive income. Not completely passive, but I mean, nothing is absolutely passive, but it does definitely give you an additional income stream in term, as well as the professional document work, development work that you already do, and the personal branding work. So you've got those different income streams. So you might want to break down your goals into, I want this much out of the active work and this much out of the passive. Or perhaps with Katie as well, she's got the document development stuff, but she's also got the coaching program. So you've got 2 streams of active work there. So that's another way that you can further break it down. The more specific you can get, the better it will be, because you'll know where it helps you to direct where you focus your time and energy and all of those resources that we talked about before. Now, so that's one way to break this goal down. Let me know, just pop it into the chat. Is everybody kind of following along with what I'm saying at the moment? Does this all make sense so far? And are you, as I'm talking through this, are you applying it to your, just give me a yes or something in the chat, because I can't see most people at the moment, but I can see Sarah's the only person I can see right now. I've got my little box down to 1 so I can see the rest of my screen. Awesome. So if anyone's got some questions, just pop some question marks in there and I can go back over stuff, okay?